in VK and so on. But anyway, a couple seconds and I'll start streaming. Let me know if you are able to see me, okay? Let me know if you're able to see me. And meanwhile, I'm gonna pull a chat. Really do appreciate you wonderful people. Okay, looks like I'm on. All right, give me a thumbs up, please, if you like my streams. All right, and I'm really excited about today's subject. Really excited about today's subject. Okay, good morning, all of you. I tried to type before I start, but I'm not sure if I was catching up or not. But good morning to all of you. Mark, good morning. Alan, good morning. Ernie, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. By the way, Ernie, I've got your email. Please, I did not ignore you by not replying. I am getting thousands of emails daily, and sometimes I just choose not to answer right away. But I want to let you know, I've got your email with the Gonzalez tool. With those three, I like the middle one. Okay, I like right in the middle. I love this one. Okay, so that is a great thing you've done. Wonderful. Okay, Carl, good morning, and Sergio, good morning. Paul, good morning. Everyone, good morning. Okay, everyone, good morning. Now, a question is: first million by carving wood. Is it possible to make $1 million or not? And I believe yes, yes, yes. And there's an easy answer to that question. You are able to make $1 million. And I mean, how to make a first $1 million by just carving wood. You probably have to start your hobby with 2. All right, then you'll make $1 million. But it's a joke, of course. Of course, it's a joke. I mean, in reality, yes. I mean, you able to make good living, and I sometimes just wonder myself. You know, my first degree, and you probably know, in Soviet Union, you go to college early, and by age of 18, when you turn 18, you have to go to the army. Okay, but the first degree you have to go to. We call that technical school, which is equal to college. Pretty much the first, college. Like it's not really like community college in the United States, but it's just a college. Okay, and yes, my first degree was connected to computers. Okay, and whatever you call computers back then, we had big, huge machines, the size of the room. But I was connected to a computerized gauging system. Okay, so that was my first degree. But I never worked in that profession a day, even one day. Okay, even I had that education. So, and I sometimes just look at my children, my son, and he chose to be a programmer. And I do understand programming too, to a certain degree, not like you, Mark, so you know what I'm talking about. You own a programming company. And I just wonder, my son, he just started like a couple years ago, and he already makes, really good living. And I just wonder myself, am I in the wrong profession? Am I in the wrong, business? But then I answer myself, if somebody would give me $1 million today, would I do the same thing what I'm doing right now? And my answer is absolutely. Yes, I will. I will still get my gouge. I will still get my knife. And yes, I would just carve. I would just carve, and carve. I mean, if some of you want to give me $1 million, in US dollars, not like whatever those local rubles and stuff like this, okay? US dollars. I'll accept that and I'll still carve, all right? And I love gifts, by the way. Okay, so I really love gifts. So I shouldn't say that. I mean, I hope my wife not listening to me. All right, because I mean, there's a thing when you talk in something, you always hear your wife, even if she's not close to you. Okay, and all husbands understand me. Sometimes you say something what you're not supposed to say. But anyway, so good morning, Lori. Good morning, Eugene. Good morning, Edgardo. Buenos dias, Edgardo. So good morning, good morning. Maybe I missed someone. Watching you from Michigan. Michigan is almost like a homeland for me. Ivan, good morning. Bob, good morning. Oh, a lot of people connected. Doesn't look like lots of people connected on the Facebook. I don't know what's going on, but it's okay. Okay. So anyway, Facebook is not the best platform, okay, to watch, because it's only 720 quality-wise, okay, even if they call it HD. But I would ask you to join me probably on the Facebook better, because it's a full HD at least, okay, and I'm trying to stream in the 60 frames, so which is supposedly going to give me a better quality picture. But question today, again, is it possible to make good money just by carving wood? And of course, wood carving is a craft for some of you. For some of you, wood carving is a hobby, and more and more people thinking about, is it possible to turn your craft in a money-making machine? Okay, but also, how do you estimate your work? How you estimate your wood carving project? How you price your wood carving project? And that question is actually a legit question. Celso, bom dia, Celso. So that is a legit question, and I'm getting constantly emails almost daily from all over the world, pretty much, asking about how do I market, how do I price my work. And like I said, that is a legit question. There's a lot of people who are struggling, but they talented people, they know how to carve. And there's a lots of really professional wood carvers in the world. Okay, that is amazing, because I do have a school online. And lots of people connected from all over the world. I mean, from all over the world. I've got from Japan, from Vietnam, from Africa. I've got from, I mean, I'm not counting in European countries, and Russia, of course, and Germany, and England, and Finland, and Spain, and Italy. Also, Middle East. I've got from Israel people. I've got from some Arabic countries, from all over the world. Okay, I'm not counting even South America, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico. I mean, there's lots of people from all over the world, and people sending me emails with their work. Okay, so like I said, not only beginners part of my wood carving school, but professional people. I mean, I have some people who carved over 30 years, who carved over 40 years, over 50 years. Okay, so they're much older than me, and when they sending me a picture, I just humble myself. I have to humble myself and just to say, well, yeah, I can carve. Okay, but it's a really big question, really big question, how to become a millionaire by carving wood, even if it's possible. I mean, is it even possible? Okay, so like I said, I'm not promising you to answer that it's possible to do $1 million. I can answer you yes. I mean, it is possible, but at least I'll try to answer you, are you able to make money with your craft? I mean, with wood carving craft. Are you able to pay for your rent, or if you're paying for the mortgage, or just could one project pay off your house? And is there such a thing? And let me jump to history. I mentioned before Riemann Schneider, 15th century German carver, Tilman Riemann Schneider. Okay, and we know him just because he left a lot of beautiful wood carving projects in the churches. That is actually also one of the questions one of you asked me. Am I carving a lot for churches and synagogues? I'll tell you a little later, okay? But he carved pretty much most of the time for churches. But he's not only famous for his skills, for his ability to carve wood, but he is actually also known as a really wealthy man. Okay, he made his fortune just by carving wood. Just by carving wood. Okay, yes, there's other wood carvers, and the clients did not want to pay them, like Chippendale. I mean, he did beautiful work when he used to live and produce furniture and so on, but he never was paid well enough. And Grun Gibbons, he developed that idea, of pods. If it's open, if it's closed, it's just a tale. Of course, we don't know if it's paid or not paid. Then he carved. But yes, I mean, he experienced a problem with the payments from clients. But I could not say he's not successful and he didn't make money. He did. He did, because if he wouldn't make any money carving wood, he would not be able to pay apprentices. I mean, he had a shop, he had multiple people who worked for him, not only apprentices who swept the floor. I'm talking about wood carvers. And the way they established the woodworking shop, or woodworking guild, I would say, to be exact, wood carving guild. So different levels of a craftsman used to work in one shop. So level number one would be a rough wood carvers who would just chop really quickly big chunks of wood. Level number two would be more less like outlining and just to get the best shape around. And the level number three, it's a detail, or master himself, Grun Gibbons, he would just take a knife and gouge, or any other wood carving tools, whatever he thought is the best for the job, and he would just clean everything. Otherwise, he would not produce so many wood carving projects. It's impossible. But he had to pay. Yeah, I mean, he had to pay to his workers. Like those of you who in business, I mean, employees, they can cost you. Okay, let me read the a chat, and then I'll answer how I price my wood carving projects, how I estimate how much am I supposed to make on a project. There's a different approaches, of course. There's a multiple approaches. I'm not going to tell you how much I make, okay, but I'm going to tell you approach which you can utilize in pricing. Okay, let me read. Eugene never made a million, but enjoyed that. Eugene, there's a lot of years ahead of you. You're still able to make a million or 2 millions. Okay. Let me read. Tim, watching from Texas. Good to see you, Tim. George. Yes, George. YouTube is much better than Facebook to watch. Absolutely, because I am able actually to schedule my live stream, and you able to click that waiting or alarm button, so it's gonna give you alarm. Also, if you, of course, subscriber, okay, if you subscribed, and then you're gonna get the notifications, and it's gonna be also on your home screen when it's gonna be the next event live. Okay, so it's better on YouTube. It's pretty much the best for me, I would say. Satya Purushan, hello. I hope I did not butcher your name. Great. So now If you are still on a social media, please consider following me on Instagram, Woodcarver Grabovetsky, and Facebook, also Woodcarver, and my last name, which is Grabovetsky. And by the way, my name is Alexander Grabovetsky, okay, for those of you who's watching me first time. But most of you actually already know me, but there's a lot of people actually joining daily to my channel, and I hope it's going to explode someday, and I'm going to have millions of subscribers, and then I'm going to be able to make more videos actually. Okay, so but anyway, the question, how to make money with your hobby. If you really enjoying your hobby, and it doesn't matter what age you are, okay, it's really sad that when I live in the United States, of course, and you're watching from all over the world. Brent, good morning. You're watching from all over the world, but when you walk in a famous Walmart store in the United States, and there's older people greeting and helping people, and I didn't know at the beginning why they still work if they have not much time left in their lives, and they're not enjoying what they love to do, and they are seniors. Later, you know, few years later, when I moved to the United States, I found out it's not because they really love communicate and you know, not really. I mean, they just needed extra income. And for those of you, I mean, I have some people in my school. They spend many years in different professions. I have doctors, I have lawyers, and I have professors of universities. Okay, not just one, but multiple professors. And they already seniors, and they really love wood carving. But some of them on a pension. I'm not talking about doctors. Yes, you do have a big pension, but there's some normal people like us, like Mayor Myrtles, you know, and the government doesn't pay to those people a lots of money, you know, and you can't even pay partially sometimes for your house. But your wood carving hobby can actually bring some extra income. It's also a reason. But how do I price it? Okay, there's a couple approaches how I price. Okay, is that okay if I gonna carve little bit for you with just to see, not just my talking head, but you're gonna be able to see some carving process, and I'm gonna explain how I charge and how I estimate, how I price my wood carving projects. Give me a thumbs up or just to write that in the chat, okay, if it's okay if I'm gonna carve a little bit and explain. All right. Paul is saying, so should stop carving for free, lol. I had a client ask me for a carving commission. Maybe I'll say yes. You should. You probably should. Absolutely. Okay, let me carve a little, okay? Let me carve a little. I'm still working on this piece, and I need to speed up, but yesterday I didn't do too much because I had to spend some time drawing for a client, okay? And it's a big dancing process between a client and me. So it always starts with the drawing, and that also has to be a thing when you estimate your wood carving. You really have to consider how much time you spend for drawing and designing, okay? And yes, I do charge for time I spent for the drawing, and I didn't do that at the beginning, okay? I didn't do that at the beginning because I thought it should be a process. Rustam, добрый день. I just thought that should be a process, you know, included in a, you know, wood carving project. But I found no, it depends on the client. Some clients so crazy and they just dance so much and so long. Okay. Then I had a client, and he told me, I mean, he was also a really high-end woodworker, and he got some of my wood carvings and stuff like this. He said, well, he charges for the drawing. Okay, for the time, okay, and I asked him how much he charged, and I found out he charged so much. I thought, well, I should probably just draw, and that's it. but it's not what I love to do. I love drawing. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm drawing all the time on the phone. I have a vacuum. Big vacuum Cintiq 24 and so on. But I enjoy a lot more carving. All right, I enjoy a lot more carving. All right, so so that is the starting process. By the way, I do have a lots of emails from architects and just normal people asking me almost daily, just estimate some carving. And sometimes it just gets really frustrating for me when a famous architect or big architect, he is trying to get some wood carving project or wood carving detail in his project. And for example, I had an email just not too long ago. One architect, he's saying, well, we are looking for professional wood carver who would be able to carve for us 17th century mantel or chimney, if you in England. Okay, it's a wood carved chimney. And he said, are you able to do that? And he attached a picture of this mantle. And I love chimneys. I love mantles. Okay, especially English. I'm talking about England made. 17th, 18th, 19th century, beautiful work. It's one of the best chimneys I ever saw. Okay, that's a beautiful chimneys. And I said, yes, absolutely. I have no problem of carving it, and that would be a joy for me to carve, that chimney. And I apologize for that noise. It's just the ambient noise of opening my tool chest and getting my tool. All right. By the way, I'm using number 7 and number 11 and 7 millimeters, which is a little bigger than a 1/4 inch for those of you who don't know that. Okay, I'll get a little closer to you. Okay. Brent is saying, sorry, vacuum. I love vacuum, by the way. It's one of the best tablets. I love it, but I can't spend all day long drawing. I'm getting tired. Okay, but back to that architect. Could you estimate me how much it's gonna cost? And I said, yeah, absolutely, no problem. And he said, by the way, we do have a budget for it already pre-established. And I asked him back. Like I said, it's a dancing. It's a dancing between a wood carver and architects and designers and just the clients. Back and forth emails. And I asked him an email, okay, just give me the budget and I'll see what I can do. And he said, well, that budget is going to be $2,000. And I said, well, go ahead and carve yourself. It's exactly what I said. I said, do you even understand how much time it takes, how long it takes, how long it actually took the person in England in 17th century to carve it? Okay, so this particular chimney was really complicated, and it would take me about half a year to carve. Honestly, yes, it's a half a year project. And I asked him, that architect, are you going to be able to feed your children for $2,000 for half a year? Living in United States? Yes, I mean, some countries, if you live some countries where prices are a lot cheaper, yeah, you probably could. But in the United States, it's not even going to cover you 1 month of mortgage in most of the states. I mean, you can stay in garage in California for $2,000 a month, okay? But half a year, $2,000 is not enough. So, and I said, go ahead and try to find somebody else who would carve for you and still feed the family. And I gave him the real price for the half a year, how much I'm charging for half a year of work. And I did not hear since then, okay? And I just gave you an example. And there's a lot of, I'm sorry to say, but it's a stupid people. They really don't get it. And for me, sometimes it's really frustrating when we're talking about art. We're talking about skill of wood carving. We're talking about talent, okay, God-given talent, and people just don't get it. They don't get it. I mean, they willing to pay. Some of the clients, they willing to pay for that, whatever they call banana with duct tape. You know, millions of dollars. Come on, guys. I mean, it's just to get real. It's not art. It's just the stupidity. And they sell. I believe they sold like 2 copies of banana with the duct tape, and they call it art. But wood carving is true art, 3-dimensional art. Okay, so and like I said, it's really frustrating when people don't get it. And I'm getting, like I said, daily. You know, are you able? I want to give a gift to my husband because I love and I'm looking for somebody who would do beautiful stuff. All right, and for example, all of you, probably most of you, saw this project right here. Okay, and I have multiple emails about this project. We want to do something like that. Okay, how much it's gonna cost? How much it's gonna cost? All right, and I'm telling them the truth. I mean the truth. So it took me a long time to carve to that level. Long time. It's just not like 1 month, 2 months. It's actually took a lot longer to carve to that level. And I would ask, how much are you willing to pay me for those months? And they don't understand. I don't want to charge a same amount of money for my wood carving. I would not charge 1 hour of my work same as children getting in McDonald's. Makes sense? So if McDonald's paying those children $7 an hour, I'm not going to charge $7 an hour for my skill, for my talent, for my ability, for my artistic approach. No, it's a unique. So, and I'm not going to even charge what the normal employee makes just in a manufacturing. Even and it depends on the country you live. Okay, it depends on the country you live. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. So if anybody else can do that and get more money than only few people on the planet Earth, and yes, I'm honestly telling you, there's not too many wood carvers in all on the planet Earth. Some people saying it's a dying craft. It's not, okay? It's not. There's a lots of wood carvers. They just don't know how to make money and how to charge. That's the goal of today, to try to explain. So yes, you are able to make good money and a lot more than McDonald's pays to those children, okay? A lot more, okay? So, and I'm just a real. I'm turning people away all the time. For me, it's even like frustrating. I would rather not to do any project at that moment than I would just do really cheaply, and it hurts me. Or another thing is actually really painful. Another thing is what painful when people finding out the true price, how much I'm charging. They saying, "Can you get less detailed?" It's the worst what the artist can hear. Okay, that's the worst what the wood carver, artist, or people of art in general can hear. Can you make it less detailed? Yeah, just to get the block of wood. That's less details. Just harvest yourself, you know, the tree, and here you go. That is a piece of art. Okay, it's a firewood, by the way. It's a firewood, less detailed. All right. So, but for me. I would not do that. It's actually really offensive to wood carvers. Really offensive. So I don't want to make less detailed just because they don't want to pay. And my answer is always like that. Yes, you can always find somebody's cheaper. I mean, there's a lot of people who would willing to do that probably for a much cheaper. But just expect what you're gonna get. So you get what you pay. That's it. So now, One of the approaches, of course, for me, I know approximately how long it takes to do something, okay? I already know how long it takes approximately, although it's not always accurate because you know, every project is a little different, you know, the depth wise, the detail wise, you know, how it's going to be developed. If it's a sculpture, let's say like those lines I showed you before, it takes absolutely different time from carving a canvas. A canvas is much easier, for example, than those lines, and it's of course taking a lot less. I know all the strokes. For me, it's just like pretty much machine. You know, I'm just know exactly where to get my cuts to and so on. Okay, so canvas is would be easier. So I know approximately how long it's gonna take, and I am trying to estimate. I am trying to estimate not by the hour. Okay, no, not by the hour, because sometimes in 1 hour you can just work on one small inch, and sometimes in 1 hour you can get the whole leaf done. All right, like I'm doing right now. I'm doing really fast, pretty much this leaf. So, and you can do a lots of done. I'm estimating how many weeks it's gonna take, how many days it's gonna take, and I give them a budget. And usually I give a budget logical. Okay, I'm not trying to cheat or give more than it's supposed to be. No, not absolutely not. Okay, and if they agree with that, that's okay. If they trying to negotiate back the price, usually I don't. I mean, it's nothing wrong with negotiation of the price, but we're not buying a product which is already pre-made, and manufacturing this product was much cheaper, and you have a room for negotiation. In wood carving, it's not the case, so you really can't negotiate the real price. Okay, you really can't. Okay, so I give the price. If they not agree, so I'm just walking away. Although I know not everyone is just like me, because not everyone is getting so many phone calls and so many emails, and it wasn't the case in my case also like that. But still, I'm not. All right. Second thing, even if the project is small, okay, and I'm getting a lot of small projects. Okay, and I actually had an email a couple years ago. One of the school member of my school, I mean, schoolofwoodcarving.com, he asked me, well, some of the projects online really small, when I was teaching like rosette, really small, okay, and how can you even make money on just one rosette? Although it wasn't one rosette, it was multiple rosettes. And there is such a thing for me as a minimum, okay, minimum charge. All right, so even if I'm taking a small project, really small project, but I'm charging minimum, okay, minimum how much I want to get, not for the project, but minimum period, okay, a minimum charge, and I estimate approximately 2 weeks of work, approximately, okay, for my minimum. Even if it's going to take me 1 day, I still estimate a minimum like 2 weeks minimum. I found that it works for me. Okay, it works really good for me, and it works for my clients. I never had any client who's actually, you know, they would just jump back and say, no, it's not going to work. No, I mean, I had a good, really good clientele. You know, it's really they do understand. So if I'm doing something, and and if I'm taking this project, I have to invest my time. So there's going to be a minimum, even if, and that also eliminates the problem with flood of customers who want to just repair something. I don't want to do that. I do repairs sometimes on antique. It's one of the ways actually, but even on antique, when they sending me, could you repair that mirror? And yes, I can do that. That's no problem. I can repair that mirror. I do have a minimum. okay, how much I charge, and they saying, well, it's gonna take you only a couple hours to do it. Yes, but do I wanna spend my time a couple hours, set everything up, get the wood and stuff like this? No, I don't. Okay, I'm charging minimum, and if they're willing, they pay me that, and I'll repair it, no problem. Otherwise, try to find somebody else who is actually willing to do almost for free. No, okay, no. So does it make sense so far? Let me know, please. Let me know. Now, Ariana is saying, can I say material plus time, $50 an hour plus tax? Ariana, that is all depends. Okay, I am charging for material separately. It's true, and I also charge minimum for the material. I charge minimum for the material because I know I have to buy minimum from the lumber yard. It used to be like $300 like a couple years ago, but now it's a $500 minimum. Okay, minimum. So, and if I have especially get specific wood, and even if it's a smaller project, I have to include that minimum charge. I don't want to pay out of the pocket and just keep that material. If that's what I'm doing. I'm just getting minimum charge for the material. Whatever you charge for the hour, okay? You have to understand different countries, different states, even in United States, different cost of living. Okay, let's say if you live in New York, I'm talking about the city, $50 an hour not gonna pay you like even for half a month, living in the house. Okay, so it's not legit. California is really expensive. You can buy a mobile home for $2 million, and $2 million mobile home gonna cost you $20,000 a month, just a mortgage payment. Okay. As far as tax, you have to be really careful because different countries, they do have a different law. Are you charging tax on your labor? Are you charging tax on material? If the material, yes, absolutely, but you have to pay those taxes to the government, which is what we all do, and it's normal and good practice. So you can pay those taxes actually to the lumber yard where you buy the material, or you can pay your taxes, whatever, if you have retail merchant certificate, okay, and just collect the taxes and pay if it applies to United States. Different laws. I mean, UK it's a different law, Russia is different law. I'm pretty sure Afghanistan is different law. So if you want to charge by the hour, that is okay. That is okay. But how you can estimate, the huge project like the whole room, how many hours it's gonna take? How can you estimate the drawing process by the hour? How many hours is gonna take dancing back and forth? Approval, disapproval, red marking, and those architects, they get crazy. Sometimes some architects, they think they know better. Never took a knife, never took a gouge, never took a veiner, any of wood carving tools. But they think they know what they asking. But you wood carver, what it takes, how many hours and what tools and how long it's gonna take and so on. Okay, so hope it makes sense, people. Hope it makes sense. All right. Now it's one of the approach. Yes, I think Ariana, you are in Georgia, USA. $50 an hour in Atlanta. It's what the average carpenter makes, I believe. I'm not sure if you're in Atlanta or not, but $50 or $45 in Atlanta, it's what just a carpenter who installs kitchens and so on makes. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I have to tell you a secret, okay? I have to tell you a secret. But before I'll tell you a secret, let me tell you something else. A second way how you estimate, and I love that approach, and that is what I use all the time. I'm estimating by square inch. If it's a European customer, by square centimeter, okay? and I approximately know how long it's gonna take. Okay, and how much I have to make my payments, you know, for all of my mortgage and stuff like this. All the not only mortgage, of course, there's a lot more payments than mortgage. You know, we live in a market economy, so there's a lot of payments. We're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars a month. Sometimes I have to not only make my living by that, but I wanna keep something, you know, on the side also. And I travel, you know, with my family. I try to take my wife like a few times a year, just me and my wife spent together. So, and I have to estimate everything in it. So by the square inch, and that's when you're looking at the surface, okay, by the square inch, that's how I'm charging. Okay, so we're talking about just how long it's gonna take me to carve, of course, the whole project, but I estimate how long it usually takes, and I just estimate by the square inch. And also how deep it's gonna go. I'm estimating not only the surface, but I also estimate the depth. So like how deep it's gonna be this way. All right. So, and if I have to carve on that side, let's say this particular case, it would be a square inch right here and a square inch on top. So, and I get both of those prices. Okay. So if it makes sense, all right. So people from Greece, great to see you. Great to see you. Okay, now let me tell you something else. When I said $50 an hour, what Ariana's saying is at a fair price, living in the United States and Georgia, it does sound legit, but on another hand, think about that. You are, I'm not sure what level you are. You have to also consider what level woodcarver you are, okay, and what kind of projects you do. I don't know the level, I can't justify, but if you are professional woodcarver, master in your craft, master woodcarver, and you still want to make money with woodcarving craft or with woodcarving hobby, so you have to look at yourself a little differently. It's how much you would love to pay yourself. Okay, and that's how you name it. And I found that by listening to some other big business people, they saying, I value 1 hour of my time so much, and next time, even if I'm gonna just spend talking, I'm gonna charge for that talking. I mean, think about the lawyers, think about you know, other people who's just talking and how much they make. It's just because it's logic how much they value 1 hour of life. But let me tell you something. Of course, it's a joke. Of course, it's not the true thing, I should say. But anyway, I think wood carving. Okay, let me tell you. There's different levels of woodworking. Different levels. It doesn't mean one level is better than another. And I know some people gonna love me for that, and some people gonna love me a little more for that, okay? But there's a different levels of woodworking world, okay? Level number 1, and I'm gonna just take you to the screen. Okay, I'm gonna take you, no, I'm not gonna take you to the screen. Hold on just a second. Yes, I will take you to the screen. My apologies, okay? So in woodworking world are people who working with wood. Level number 1. Okay, I'm gonna write that on from the bottom up. So that would be framers. Okay, we're talking about people who framing houses. They chop 2x4s, 2x6s, put together. You know, they install staircases, and they really, I mean, it's woodworking. They working with wood. They have to estimate all the pitch on the roof and stuff like this. And there's a lot of mathematics involved in a framer, okay? I mean, framing skill, framing trade, I should say, okay? And is saying, oops, you are not coming across YouTube. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. It was just a black screen for a second. I just hit the wrong button. Please forgive me for that. It should be on. let me check. Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm on. All right. So now, now that is level number 1. Level number 2, people who working with wood would be, I would call, finish carpenters. And you should agree with me. You should agree with me. Finish carpenter is taking little different level. It's actually, it's not like better or worse. But finish carpenter, usually all the finish carpenters, they able to cut the 2x4s, 2x6s, get the staircase, and even figure out the roof. They can frame finish carpenters. But also what finish carpenters do, what framers don't. And a Finnish carpenter can install a kitchen. He can install a door, interior door. A Finnish carpenter can put the base molding together. He can put the crown together. I mean, he can just crown the whole room and stuff like this. All the molding work and stuff like this. Put the wood flooring and so on. It's a Finnish carpentry, and it's a little different level. Okay, so he is able to take all of the level number 1 and also work on the level number 2. There would be a level number 3. Okay, level number 3 would be cabinet maker. I believe cabinet maker is level number 3. Cabinet maker, and why is the cabinet maker is a little higher? I'm putting in my ladder, I would say. It's not like better or worse. Don't get me wrong, please, okay? Don't get me wrong, okay? But usually cabinet maker, he is actually able to put the drawers together. He can install those drawers inside of the cabinet. He knows the spacing for the drawers. He knows the cabinet sizes, and he can actually build the cabinets with blind eyes, okay, with no problem. He knows how to cut the plywood. He knows how to do, you know, everything what is connected to the cabinet making. And absolutely every cabinet maker able to do finish carpentry. Okay, so he can install the crown molding, he can install the kitchen, he can cut baseboard, he can install doors, and all of the cabinet makers able to cut 2x4s and do whatever the rough carpenters or framers do. Makes sense? Let me know if it makes sense or not. Please comment, okay, if it makes sense. So, but not every Finnish carpenter able to build the cabinet. Yeah, he can install the cabinet, but he can't put the drawer in the right space. He doesn't know that's supposed to be for the different hardware. Let's say if he uses a Blum, it's supposed to have a 5 millimeters or 3/16 of an inch gap and the spacing for those slides. He doesn't know that, but he able to install. But cabinet maker knows. Okay, and there's another level, so which is you should know. Another level, it would be a furniture maker. Would be a furniture maker. Are you agree with me? Okay, a furniture maker takes absolutely different skill set to be a furniture maker. Absolutely different skill set. Furniture maker, actually, he is able to build any type of cabinets. Furniture maker, he's actually able to install the cabinetry, install the crown molding, and absolutely he is able to carve, you know, 2x4s, 2x6s, and put the house together. And I know that because I framed one of the houses when I used to live in Indiana for 9 years. We built beautiful 3-story house, huge, big house, and we framed everything ourselves. I mean, my people who you know, who used to work for me, employees, we did everything with really high-end compound sliding saws. I mean, all the framing. That's how the furniture maker does it. Okay, or even, you know, cabinet maker. Makes sense or not? Makes sense or not? Okay. Framer, Finnish carpenter, cabinet maker, furniture maker. And there's another level. There's another level. And that is another level. And I'm talking about professionals only, okay? So that would be a wood carver. All right, so that would be a wood carver. Oops. All right, so that was a joke, by the way. But I'm talking about professional wood carvers who's doing that for living. Okay, most of the wood carvers, master wood carvers, they able to build the furniture. They are able to build the cabinets. I know some wood carvers. They did the kitchen, and guess what? That kitchen was the most beautiful kitchen, and they able to install the doors, get the crown together, cut the crown, miters put together, and so on. And absolutely any wood carver, I mean professional level wood carver, able to cut 2x4s, and even they take it to the next level. They carve faces on the 2x4s. Let me know if it makes sense. All right, and let me know if it makes sense. And yes, there's also wood turners. All right, it's also people of wisdom. That's why I love that verse from the Bible. The Bible says a wood carver is actually a wise man. Okay, he's a knowledgeable man. He is a man of understanding, and of course, woman. Right. So wonderful people. That's enough for today. I thank you very much, Nate. Good to see you. Oh, Nate is saying, what about the old boat builders? I was talking about, let me tell you, when you're talking about old boat builders, you're probably referring that to 18th, 19th century, okay? And even 17th century, okay? Nate, if I'm wrong, please forgive me, okay? I mentioned before, even in 18th century, wood carvers, they would ornate those boats, and wood carvers would be different levels of wood carvers, different levels. Okay, they would divide those wood carvers in 3 different skill sets or different groups. Okay, so the first one would be a boat carver. It's exactly like it sounds. They would just carve on those boats, and it's usually huge movements. Okay, and that would be considered as a rough carvers. Okay, so they were not able to do really detailed work. By the way, Greenland Gibbons, he used to carve for boats for a little while until he found really good customers. Level number 2, they would call them in England. They would call them vehicle carvers or buggy carvers. You know, those buggies with the horses. Or we call them carrette. Okay, so carvers. So they would carve for those vehicles on the roads, and they would just be a little higher level than boat carvers because there's a lot more details. People would look at those details a little closer. Okay, so it would be level number 2. But there's a level number 3. It would be architectural carvers who would just work inside of the houses, inside of the palaces. You can imagine, I mean, people didn't have those fancy stuff, fancy wood carving projects inside of common normal houses. Okay, only palaces they had that stuff. But none of boat carvers, none of vehicle carvers would work inside of the house. They would not be nobody would let them go in and carve mantle over mantle, and they would never carve egg and darts, or even on a crown molding acanthus. So those would be architectural wood carvers. It's a different level. But that level, of course, architectural carvers still would be able to carve on the boats and vehicles. Okay, but even inside of the house, architectural carvers, there would be even higher level, like a Greenland Gibbons style carvers. Okay, it would be artists. So those 3 before would be just a craftsman or tradesman. but he was an artist. So he was an artist. So he would carve beautiful flowers and beautiful movements, a lot of deep excavation, and that would be the highest level, I would say. You know, right here. Okay, so that is one of the projects in my school online. So that, I mean, look at that piece, which is with the flowers. It's really complicated. It's not architectural carving. It's a decorative or ornamental carving, which is actually the name ornamental wood carver or decorative wood carver. Okay, but anyway, I tried today to explain how to charge. I'm gonna turn off my streaming right now. I tried to make sense. Yes, you could charge by the hour. For me, it doesn't work because I really don't know exactly how many hours it's gonna take. I charge by square inch, and I do have a minimum charge. I do have a minimum charge for project, even if it's a tiny small project. If they don't want to pay for me, that's not my client. Okay, I charge for the drawing process. If it's architectural drawing and stuff like this, it takes time. And I don't work with stupid people. I'm sorry to say that, but there's a lot of people who don't get it. Okay, so you're not gonna get really good steak for the price of McDonald's. Okay, so it should make sense. All right. When people saying to me, but we do have a budget, you know, we want to spend only that much. Can you do that for that budget? I would answer, go to a store and look at the bread. And usually the bread in the United States costs about $3. Take a bread, come to the cashier, and he would just try to get $3 from you, but you would say, oh, I've got only 25 cents. Can you sell it to me for 25 cents? Absolutely not. Okay? You have to charge for your work, and you have to pay for your house. Maybe you're not going to be able to make $1 million, who knows? But maybe you are. I know for a fact, with just one knife, with the, I'll show which knife. Which knife, okay? That knife right here, okay? Okay? This knife, just the one tool. And that's not bragging. This tool bought me 2 lots of land, 3 acres, in 1 month. Okay? That project was just a one knife project. And I charged enough and I made it in 1 month. Okay? Are you able to make $1 million by carving wood? Are you able to get enough money by put your passion in, you know, in what you do? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me read the last comments. Okay. Andy, wonderful. I hope it's it makes sense, people. I hope it inspirational and pushes you. And I'm glad that I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, it's a double benefit for me. You know, maybe you don't know about me. Yes, I'm a wood carver, and that's what, by choice, by the way, by choice, not just by education. Yes, I was apprentice. Yes, I was in jail for my beliefs, not for criminal stuff. And I do have a education in multiple schools. I'm talking about universities, okay? But some of the schools I took while carving and having business. One of the schools, particular, one of the universities I was studying in, it was, we didn't have internet back then, but it was like a distance education via tapes, you know, whatever, VHS tapes, okay? But the thing is, I had employees. They were working for me. I would send them to the job sites and they did whatever they did. We built homes. And I would spend my time in my shop carving. And when you're carving with your hands and your brains and your ears and your eyes, you know, just you concentrate on the carving, but it's like a turning off. It's just like automatic mode. And you have a choice. You can listen music or you can listen audiobooks. But I chose to listen university courses, okay? And I've got not just one, multiple courses passed just because of wood carving. So it's a more benefit, or more benefits to you. Okay, thank you very much, wonderful people. Stay safe. Don't forget, please subscribe if you're not yet, and hit that bell notification if you want to get my live stream not missed. Okay, also follow me on Instagram, Woodcarver Grabovetsky, and also if you all